Hi everyone, it's me Giovanni, but I'm pretty sure that people already know that. Anyways, I wanted to make this video about Five Nights at Freddy's. Yes, I'm doing this again, but instead of some dumb theory that just grinds my gears, really grinds my gears, it's instead about a theory surrounding the lore of just Fnaf 1 through 4 and its entirety of how someone who is smaller, who is a smaller creator, but their video, their theory is so good that I love it, but there are still a few flaws. I mean, like any FNAF theory, most of them make sense and people understand the theories and if they make sense to them, but still they seriously have flaws. They seriously have flaws. And unless I love your theory about FNAF 1 through 4, and I feel like it makes a lot more sense instead of the whole dream theory thing back then, because honestly, and I didn't know that that people hated the way Scott decided to tell his story. It's his story, goddammit. And it's his game series that he originally made. It's his creation. Why were people hating on Five Nights at Freddy's, the story, or FNAF World? I don't know. I don't know. It's probably mostly because of critics. Probably because of critics. I mean, they just can't. They can't. I don't know. All I know is that unless is some theory makes a whole lot of sense instead of that stupid dream theory. I'm trying to speak. Basically, dream theory was something that caused Scott Coffin to reframe FNAF and just make more games and more of a story than what he originally envisioned, which is kind of sad, but then again, I'm fine with the games that we have. But I'm just gonna say, the books are they're extremely unnecessary. I mean, they're in their own separate continuity, and that's fine. But seriously? Fucking seriously. How? How did people even think that for the books, including the Silver Eyes trilogy, to be canon to the games? Because they're not. Like, I don't know what's with people's deals with connecting everything to the games. Like, it's so frustrating. It's so fucking frustrating. Okay. But seriously, Endless's theory makes a whole lot of sense. It doesn't take place in a specific timeline. Like, there's no like time. The only time skip we do have is the 30 years later thing with FNAF 3, where it takes place after FNAF 1. And the FNAF World line of effects and stuff like that, sorry. I'm a bit of a mess, and sometimes I can't remember exactly what I've heard about. But basically, what happens in the three games, what happens in the three main games is not real, and in Fnaf 4, it's just in Fnaf 4. How can I possibly say this from my own mouth? FNAF 1 through 3, like, during or after FNAF 4 is basically just the flip side. The afterlife, in a way. And I understand that. But at the same time, when Ellis talked more and more about it, like, certain characters and, like, okay, so apparently Ellis said that the phone guy is also Shadow Freddy and Toy Bonnie is Shadow Bonnie, even though Shadow Bonnie also exists as the same time as Toy Bonnie does. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. But then again, in his theory, none of the events of FNAF 1 or 3 are even real. They're part of the afterlife, in a way. Now, it's still a bit conflicting. I mean, I love the theory, but still, at a simple, normal timeline, I don't know how to put it. Let's put it like this. So, FNAF 1 through 3, FNAF 1 through 3 isn't real, right? So, the bite of 87 didn't actually happen, right? Because that doesn't even make any damn sense. If the bite of 83 was just the bite, if it was just the one bite, I mean, Markiplier's whole thing with his reaction to that scene was that the bite of 87. I mean, he wouldn't be wrong about that. Would it actually be the bite of 87 if that was the case, especially with Scott Cawthon's original vision for the story being that FNAF 4 took place during 1987, then changed to 82, then 83. Most likely, yes. But still, it's absolutely conflicting. How can you possibly place any of this into a simple, normal timeline? You can't. So, okay. So, Mike Schmidt is the grandchild. The purple guy is completely unrelated to any character whatsoever. He's just some guy who's... Well, when people originally envisioned the purple guy, he's just some weirdo, a psychopath, or even a creep. Not exactly a pedophile or pervert, just a creep. An absolute creep. And, okay. The bite of 83 takes place at Fredbear's Family Diner, right? The bite of 8... I can't speak! The bite of 87 happens at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. How? How? I mean, okay. This is still absolutely confusing. The only flaw that I even saw with Ellis, like, talking about his theory was about JJ being Shadow Balloon Boy. There's no Shadow Balloon Boy. JJ is Balloon Girl, the girl equivalent to Balloon Boy. You would know that, right? Right. Oh my god. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm an absolute mess. in my version of events, oh god, okay, if I only had to go off of FNAF 1 through 3, that's all. That's all. Especially with the fan games of Five Nights at Candy's and Pop Goes being connected to the original FNAF trilogy. And with the original FNAF trilogy, instead of taking place in Utah, it was supposedly taking place in Texas. So, let's establish this. Oh god. So, FNAF 2, a prequel to FNAF 1, taking place in 1987. The buy happens around November on Jeremy's day shift. The former night guard, and he gets bitten by Toy Bonnie. Toy Bonnie did the bite of 87, not Whifford, not Whifford. I can't speak. Not Whifford Foxy, not Whifford Foxy, like the current lore implies. FNAF, the Freddy Fazbear's location is shut down after a few weeks of being opened, but the old Whifford animatronics are being used for another location, the original Freddy's location, at a much cheaper budget. The 5 missing children, if we also include the puppet being the 5th child instead of Golden Freddy, I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's understandable. That might make sense. That might actually make a lot of sense. Especially since the 5 missing children were not killed at the same time. There were 2 children and then an additional 3. According to the newspapers from the original game. But that's still conflicting on its own, so yeah. Anyway, so during FNAF 1, it's set to be closed by the end of the year, and after Mike Schmidt's night shift and tampering with the animatronics getting fired, the place soon closes down like it said at the end of the week. I mean, end of the year. The year. Right. Presumably in November or December. And Freddy Fazbear's is just abandoned. There's no other Freddy Fazbear's establishment aside from Fazbear's Frights. And FNAF 1 presumably mostly takes place in 1993. FNAF 3 would either take place in 2013, 2015, 2017, or 2023. But basically in FNAF 3, there's an unknown night guard who watches over the place with Springtrap, who was the purple guy, in the building, and then the ghosts receive their happiest day and move on, and Fazbear's Frights burns down. Yeah. I'm sorry, I feel like absolute crap. But anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it or not. It's whatever. See you in the next video someday. And please stay safe and stay at home. Bye.